Hey everyone, it's Leo Young here with the J.T.A podcast episode 16? 15? 16?
I think
And with
so.
me tonight, I have Apple Van Jack.
Good evening, good morning, good night, good everything, I guess.
Golden Sparrow.
Hello.
And Wicked.
What's up?
And I am your gracious host, Leo Young. I'm pretty sure I said Leo.
The
So
model?
You've already ruined it. Now people will fucking look into it. You have to do it when we aren't Never mind. You worthless piece of shit. Anyways. So tonight's topics are a bit heavy compared to the usual last video because, no offense to people from the last video, they were lacking energy and conviction and determination. They were Atreus and I was Kratos, and I was not having any of it.
They were sleeping.
They were sleeping, and I couldn't let them sleep on these hoes. I did, and now they have AIDS.
Oh god.
Well, two of them were sleeping. One of them was, fucking hanging birds for fun. So there's always that.
Gold.
So yeah, tonight we're gonna. If you remember, or if you even fucking listened to the last couple podcasts, because I see our fucking view counts. I see most of our views come from Argentina. So we're gonna have to get a lot of Spanish on this one. But if you did see
Hablamos
that,
español.
holy shit! If you did see those videos you probably know that we talked about just racism and how it's affecting people, and how there's probably ways to end it, but it's just a constant growing cycle. So when we ended that, we wanted to talk about sex, and not let's talk about sex, baby. Want to talk about you and me? No, we're not talking about that. We're going to talk about the controversies that's behind sex. And this is actually going to be led by Van today.
Yeah, because I wanted to have a conversation about it. I do not remember why, but I did. And now we're going to talk about it because that was the plan from the very beginning.
So Van, lead us in.
I do not remember the steps we were going to take.
Alright, follow my lead again. So basically, for all of you who are just why are you guys talking about sex? What is so controversial about it? I can't speak for outside of America, so we're only going to stick within our own walls unless someone in here has foresight or insight in how it works in other communities. But for right now, we're just going to stick to America. So simply put, in America, there are people who are against the idea of not sex, but sexual education within schools. Now, yes, I hear some of you going oh, I don't want to hear this. But
this is so dumb.
This is so dumb. But there are people out there who probably are just oh wow, that is weird. Why would they not want to talk about it? So we generally okay, let's get this off the bat. I personally believe sex should be taught in school. Van, what do you think?
I think it should be. I mean, everybody does it at some point, and even if you don't, it's better to know than to not know, because one day you never know if you end up in a situation and you want to get your freak on.
Stop talking.
Okay.
Gold? Being the youngest in this group, do you believe that sexual education should be taught?
Well, first of all, to get it off the bat, they should hear it from the parents first of all, because or a responsible adult who has experience with this topic. But pretty much it's better to have a controlled environment for them to hear it, instead of hearing it from the streets, or off of a movie somewhere or something of that sort.
So
culture.
No, let them talk, man.
Because in our culture, pretty much in America, it's basically everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even in kids' cartoons, if you get the hint. But then again, well, I think it's a good idea to present it in a fashion in which basically they won't just go out there and make a mistake by not knowing exactly what it is, the biological aspects of it,
Hmm.
well, the implications of what could happen, and yeah. But ultimately, they're gonna have to make that decision for themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, yeah, I agree with, well, having it taught in schools.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you guys could probably hear the phone vibrating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My mother's probably like, her car broke down and I decided not to go get her. So, Wicked, seeing as you're the last dude, what's your thought on that?
I mean, of course it should be. Because while many believe that that responsibility should fall on the parents, not everybody has, you know, parents who can teach them things of that nature.
I mean,
So,
touching on that subject, it's like, how do you really even? Because I mean, I'm not a parent. I'm certainly not a qualifiable adult to say like I know how to even begin a conversation like that with a child or a growing youth. So I mean, like, I think because like personally, by my experience,
I'm going to
I've
be taking
never.
a phone call. You guys just keep on going until I get back, okay?
All right.
yeah,
So basically, like what I'm saying is, like I never got the birds and the bees talk that everybody's always saying, you know. And I'm like, did you guys ever get it?
I got them when I was 7.
How was it explained to you?
Medically, very medically, and with great detail.
So it wasn't a birds and the bees situation.
Uh, I mean, define birds and the bees.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think it's like there's this. I don't know. It's like because I haven't been taught it, but everywhere like you go, when you go to like sex ed class, or when you go to like, or when you, I don't know. It's just a. It seems to be a weird story you can confront your kids with when you want to talk about sex. But I never got it, or at least I never got the weird metaphor because I didn't really get taught about anything sexual until like I was in middle school. So I got no sexual advice or precautions from my parents. Not until like after puberty, and that was when I was already being encouraged to be more social. You feel me?
Yeah. My dad gave me a whole PowerPoint.
What's up?
My dad gave me a whole PowerPoint.
An entire PowerPoint
Yeah, he literally created a PowerPoint for me to look at.
to talk to you about sex.
Yep. And the funny thing about it is, he didn't use the metaphor in and of itself, but he did tell me that it was actually called the birds and the bees talk. So like, cause like he wanted me to know like what everybody was talking about whenever they referred to it.
No, yeah, but apparently it's like a metaphor for the whole sexual situation. There's an actual story. I just don't know it because I never got to talk. And I would hear everybody say, "Oh yeah, the birds and the bees," like it's a common ground thing. Like everybody knows what it is, but I wasn't taught like that. I had to learn in school. Like this one time in middle school, I think I remember they brought in this weird little statuette of, I guess, a phallic member. No, not, yeah, right. That's what they call it. No, well, just a penis.
Okay.
And what they did was they were like, okay, so this is how you wrap a condom over it. This is how you handle one. I was like, wait a second. I was like, I was in middle school, so my hearing was still immature. So they were like, this is how you handle one. I'm like, whoa, slow down there, lady. I'm a master at this. I'm a professional. You don't need to tell me how to. You don't need to tell me how to handle my own penis. I know.
And then she's like, Mr. Van, well, will you come show the class? Yeah, right, I will. He gets up there, he grabs it by the balls and turns it upside down and starts spanking it. And she's like, what are you doing? This is how you handle it.
She's like, what is wrong with you?
Mr. Van, this is inappropriate. But anyways, so what have I missed so far since I've been gone?
Oh, we're just talking about the birds and the bees and how we got introduced to it. Well, Gold hasn't mentioned how he's gotten introduced to it yet.
Wicked has,
Yeah.
and Van has.
Yes.
Yep.
So Gold, I'll go after you.
Pretty much, for me, it was like a mixture from both sides. Like, for kids in middle school, basically, but also, the sex ed class, pretty much. And, well, actually, a number of times we got the sexual ed class, basically. Like, one in middle school, one in high school, and, yeah. But, my dad, although, you have these classes, although they're going to mention it in class or something like that, and it's going to be, in a controlled manner, he himself wanted to actually, tell me about it himself, so that he knows,
No.
Oh yeah, you always want to hear from the voice of experience.
Here's the thing: are the teachers not experienced?
You see, that's the thing. I feel like teachers like parents I don't think they find it exactly the most comfortable to talk about it. I mean, they're trained in doing it, I assume.
Yeah, they should be.
But I feel like they also have a hard time segueing into it.
Yeah.
They don't just go up to like 14-year-olds like, hey, you want to learn about the penis?
What?
You want to learn about the vagina?
I mean, why would anybody go up to a 14-year-old
Because you don't live where I
ask them
live.
about that?
This is something I do on a regular basis. How do you think I met Gold?
He just stopped Gold one day on
his
this.
name was Gold when I met him? No, his name was the Eagle Boy. But I thought of Gold Member, and whew, now we have Golden Sparrow.
Gold Member.
But hey, Van, I'm surprised they like actually had like a whole statue for you guys to like observe.
It was like a little model, but it had like a base at the bottom, so it looked kind of like a little statuette.
Funny thing about
Van explained that, I kind of knew that it was true-ish, because the first thing that went through my mind is South Park. There was a episode of South Park where I forgot his name. Fuck, it wasn't Mr. Mackey. It was the character who's basically pretending to be Trump in the current or the older 2 seasons ago.
I think it was Garrison.
Yeah, Mr. Garrison, he was like, all right, kids, here's how you put on a condom. But the thing was, he was teaching it to kindergartners, because the idea was these girls were going around and they were like, oh my God. And here's where we come into it. The next topic. They were like, oh my God, I'm going to get, I think it was an STD. They were talking about, I'm going to get an STD from the boys. So we don't need it.
One of the teachers taught the girls.
Yeah, one of the teachers taught the girls the wrong type of information. She was like, if you have unprotected sex, you're going to get a disease that's going to ruin your life. And that was them basically criticizing the school system by saying they teach them, but they go either way left or they go way right. And way right is going to a middle school and showing a child how to put a condom on. But at the same time, I heard from my mother. If you don't know this, my family, my brother and my sister on my dad's side, they're both teachers. My sister hated her job in a middle school because one of her 11-year-old students was taken out of her class because she was pregnant. She was on pregnancy leave crap. And
why are you?
And when I heard that, I was like, what the hell? So people are like, oh, you don't need to teach young kids. But at the same time, it's like, yes, but there are definitely cases where it's way to the right, where you need to teach them, because it is starting to affect younger and younger generations. Younger and younger people are having sex. All right. If you don't know, there was a couple of years ago, there was a teacher who was just like a middle school teacher who was like, hey, yeah, pay me $5. I'll let you go into the classroom's closet and just fuck each other. That man got over $100.
Just 100?
No, add that up, Van. If he's getting 5, how much is 5 to get to 100?
Yeah.
Okay, you got a point.
Yeah, so there's no way in hell that. So it's just shit like that people are like, they don't need to be taught this. It's like, and if they're going to be taught this, I'm going to teach them. But here's the thing, though. Do you really know when your child is sexually active? If you ask your child to look them in the eye and like, it's like Miguel, Harry, DeAndre, Bob, Are you sexually active?
Bob.
It's like, no, no, no. Maybe. Because you know how fucking gold is. They'll never say
Maybe.
yes or no.
He never gives you a yes or no. It's always a maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. The doctor asks him, "So are you sexually active?" Maybe.
Yeah.
Bitch, I might be. Bitch, I might be.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but not all the time. So I'll say no.
Only on good days.
Only on a good day. And what's a good day, Mr. Bob? Oh, when she's asleep. Yeah, never mind. We're gonna stop. But no, seriously, it's just if it's getting that young, if people are really starting that young, and you're just gonna be like, oh, I'll wait when they're 16 to have the talk. It's like I at this point, yeah, it's too late. It's like if your 11 or 13-year-old daughter comes home, I'm pregnant. It's like, yo, I was supposed to have this talk with you when you were 16, and you were supposed to get a boyfriend until you were 18, and then we were supposed to meet him, and then it's like, nope, that's not how it works anymore.
See the thing
I
is,
don't think that whole boyfriend at 18 thing works anymore.
Nah.
this is what I was trying to tell Wicked. What I was telling him.
Real quick, man?
Oh yeah.
Thank you. It doesn't work because it's like you have to realize like this is not a racial or cultural thing, but there are different types of people that your child is now meeting. They are leaving your authority for a total of, in my opinion, not opinion, but my encounters. I went to high school for about 8 hours every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Friday if I felt like going. That's 8 hours where you don't have to be. And the fact that I even said at the end, sometimes Fridays when I don't feel like going. If I don't feel like going, that means I get on that fucking bus. I go to the school, but I don't go into the school. You know what I mean? I go there, and then I'm gone. You don't know what the fuck I'm doing for the next 8 hours until I get home.
Yeah, I can see that. I can picture that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you can continue as you were, Van?
Well, it was like I was trying to tell Wicked, because apparently he got the talk at 7, which, to be honest, might seem like a fair age. It's not before puberty. I mean, it is a little early, but like, you should be getting this sort of talk before your body starts experiencing things, you know?
Fair enough.
Somewhat. I'm for me, and I'll let you talk in a second, Gold, because I kind of feel like some energy is coming from your side. For me, I feel like you should get a talk, but you shouldn't get the talk, you know? You shouldn't be oh, little Timmy, here's how your dick goes in a pussy. No, you should be like,
no.
Little Timmy, in a couple of years, you're going to change a little.
Yeah.
Like, have a good fucking talk. Be like, if a girl doesn't want to hug or doesn't want to kiss, if she says no, you stop. All right? There's nothing wrong with it. You stop and you leave that girl alone. If she wants to continue to talk to you, it's fine. That's the type of fucking talk that I feel like should be a natural thing.
Yes.
At least that's how you grow through school.
Yeah. See, the thing is, it's like, I have the idea that the way it should be taught is you start soft you start benign with your child. You give them the simple. You teach them consent. Mm-hmm. You teach them that their body is going to change. You don't tell them what. You tell them, look out for these things. Like, give them precautions. And gradually over time, as they start experiencing different things, you should feel like there's a level of comfort between you and the child to be able to talk about more in depth about what's going on. You don't want to wait until like they're 18 or 16 or even 15 or even at some ages 14, because you know this kid is already probably either experimenting or already having thoughts about experimenting.
Right.
And knowing that they're surrounded by other people like that, and some of them more bold than others to actually go out and do these things, puts them at a risk.
Right.
So like, if you don't teach them soon, like gradually, and then get to like that goal where it's like, all right, so this is what you have to at least like. It's like a school. You have to kind of give them put standards, and then slowly teach them as they come along. Because if not, you're gonna get 11-year-olds with a baby bump from God knows where, from God knows who, from God knows when, and then that's a baby the parent has to put up with, or sometimes even abort it, if the family is even willing to abort it, because you know it's a right or left situation. There are families that will see a child like a baby bump and say we're gonna keep it, and then there's other families that are like, no, we shouldn't keep it. It's a baby from an 11-year-old.
Right.
But that all ends up becoming a political situation too. It's like there are going to be families that don't believe in abortion, just like there are families that don't even believe in condoms.
Which we'll get to in a sec. I see how you're trying to transition into that, but I just want to make sure it's understood. The reason we're going into this conversation, I know we started with like, oh, should schools teach it, and we went to the house should teach it. The reason we're going into that direction is because, simply put, a lot of parents are like, no, I don't want my child learning it from the house. I mean, the school. I want to learn it here. Because what we were starting with was, it seems like the schools are a little aggressive about it, but at the same time, it's like, I know people are like, oh, schools are stupid because they don't teach us taxes, but they do fucking pay attention to the statistics that happen within themselves. You know? They're like, okay, we can definitely see that a number of the northwestern schools are having like a pregnancy issue. We need to kind of deal with it in the surrounding areas. And if it gets any worse, well, National School fucking Day. We talk about condoms. So, teaching sex ed at school. Yes, it should be well, I don't want to say mandatory though, because that means then I'm forcing it onto people. I fully understand why people are uncomfortable with the idea of a stranger teaching their child about sex. Nobody wants anyone else to teach them about sex. I mean, like, if I had a son, the relationship I have with everyone in my Discord, I'm comfortable if Van was to be like, hey, here's how you talk to a woman. Or if I go to like, hey, if you want to see a man fail at the club, I need you to go follow your Uncle Bob for a minute. Just stuff like that. But if it's like a fucking stranger, like fucking what's an example? My mom, Mr. Youngblood from fucking down the street who just moved in. You don't know why he moved in, but he's a fucking teacher. He's teaching your child. So, Cindy, here's how you put a condom on a boy's penis. It's like, why are you teaching my daughter how to do that? Teach my daughter how to protect her fucking self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting situation because. Oh, I'm sorry. Go. Were you talking?
Yeah, he was trying to, I think.
I'll come back because something happened to my computer.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
I couldn't hear. But yeah, it's an interesting situation because on my end, here, that was actually a pretty big issue. So they decided to like segregate the classrooms, in terms of who was in the classes to begin with. Boys had their classrooms and the girls had theirs, and they did teach them different things. Like we all learned the basic stuff, vagina, sexual intercourse, periods, things of that nature. Consent, that was a big thing. But in other, and where it deviated a lot of the time was with girls, they learned self-defense and things of that nature. Whereas with guys, it was like, if a girl says no, she says no, she means it. They really wanted to drive home the whole thing with consent and everything. And they especially wanted to make it clear that, if you two are in the moment and, she says no, like playfully, you need to talk to her and ask her if she genuinely wants you to stop or not.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. I can get 100% behind that. That's honestly a lot better than going off and like, but the thing is though, it's just like an age thing. Like, how old were you when they were teaching that?
I was about 11, 12.
Okay, alright then, that's fine. I was about to say, is like, that's totally an understandable thing to teach someone at a younger age. It's like, you don't want to teach someone at the age of 18, because at 18 to 19 years old, you're like, hey, don't go fucking drinking and don't go fucking smoking. And they're like, what you say, Pops? It's like, oh, it's too fucking late for them.
And you see, here's the thing. I'm gonna level with you guys, and this might be my bad memory, but I don't think that throughout every seminar that I had for sex ed, I don't think I've ever been given consent to talk.
Neither have I.
And I felt like I grew up under the impression that it was supposed to be common sense.
Exactly.
If a person is uncomfortable, they'll let you know.
Exactly. So I just wonder, like, where the hell is, like, yeah, we're going off topic again. I'm very sorry about this, but it's a hot button topic. It's like, where the hell are you getting this idea that if someone says no, it means, oh, dropping your drink, or oh, fist to your face. Like, where the fuck did that idea come from? That's like the norm. It's like, you know, that idea is like, oh, they put rail guards in front of like the doors of buildings because, you know, someone's been freaking driving into it too much. You know that example? Well, not an example, but it's something that happens here. Basically, there's a Home Depot down the street, and they have these guards in front of the doors. And around the doors, you can see, obviously, where someone smashed their car into them.
Mm-hmm.
So it only happened... So I'm not sure how many times it happened, but they're on multiple doors. So it could have just happened once, but at the same time, it's the same exact fucking way. It's like, stop. Oh, I'm sorry, what were you saying, Wicked?
I don't think it's only happened once, considering the fact that A, they're all around all the doors. B, somebody even smashed them after they were put up.
Exactly. So it's like, where the hell did this idea that if she says stop, it means, well, I don't feel like stopping.
See, the thing is, it's not just well, I don't feel like stopping. It's like when they say no or stop, I feel like, I won't say most, the dudes that fall under like temptation, they don't just say, oh, she said stop. They think, maybe I can persuade her into thinking the other way. Maybe I can lure her into a feeling of security so I can get my way.
Right.
And I have no idea where that mentality can come from.
Exactly.
Because like I was saying, I grew up with the mentality that it was common sense. If someone, they didn't teach me consent, but throughout grade school they told me, if you feel uncomfortable with something someone is doing, or if someone is feeling uncomfortable with something you are doing, it is okay to say no, and for that person or for you to step away. It is proper if you step away from that situation.
Right. And you know, before we jump into this, because we're not going to jump into this any farther because this is a completely different topic. This is consent.
Plus, it's a sensitive one.
Oh,
you never know who you're gonna offend or who's gonna get triggered. You know.
Right. Excuse me, I had a burp. But yeah, this is consent. We're talking about sex and sexual education within the schools and all that. So we're gonna like reel back. We're gonna bring ourselves back to the main topic.
Where's the boy?
Okay, so y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, that's way better.
Oh, much better.
Oh yeah, I can. Let me turn you.
Yeah,
down.
so apparently something happened with my computer, and I'm trying to figure it out right now. So
Well, whatever happened, it made your mic a lot better.
What
so
he
I'm
means
happy.
to say is he didn't
Using,
realize the
some
USB
headsets
cord
right now.
was all the way in.
No.
No worries, it happens to the
I'm
best of
actually
us.
using like some you know that old school type headphone set
Oh
type
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm using right now.
All right. Oh, you know what, Gold. This is kind of interesting because, like I said, you're the youngest out of us. You just graduated high school, correct?
Yep.
What was the situation for sex in your high school? Because the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, Gold's from Florida. You know what happens in Florida. Florida's famous for some of the strangest fucking things in the world. Or in America, at least. So, Gold, if you're feeling comfortable and willing, would you allow me to ask you, what was the sexual education, not courses, but how did your school do its sex? Was there like an issue that went on with it, or was there like...
What did they prioritize?
Right, what did they prioritize above everything? Did they talk about consent at all? Did they just...
God, I hope they did.
Like, what's the deal with it?
1 second.
Okay. 1 second is way up.
Pretty much. Okay, so from what aspect? Like how they taught it, or like if there were any situations going on?
Both. I want to hear both.
Okay, so pretty much from what I've heard, like around the school, it's like situations like something, you know, they didn't really
What?
sexual couples.
You're kind of cutting off.
Okay, some people didn't really do. Okay, some people didn't really do anything. You hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, some people didn't really do anything sexual. Some people, you know, how there are couples and stuff like that. Some people, take it to that level. And what I've heard was that, some people, yes, did get an unexpected result. Next morning, after type thing.
So what you're saying is your school was having like pregnancy issues.
Yeah.
Oh, I can
Well,
relate.
not exactly I wouldn't say well, yeah, some
Wouldn't
people
s-
fooled around and
Okay.
but it was like it's not exactly like you'd see someone in the hallways just like walking around pregnant or anything like that.
Mhm.
It's not like anything like a public, a completely public high school,
No, yeah.
because it's not like out of control. It's like something that some people personally deal with, and you wouldn't exactly hear from them or see from them by chance. I didn't really know many people who have been through that personally, but I have heard things around the school, and I have heard like a few people have actually had sex and got like maybe like an STD or something like that.
Ooh.
Jesus.
But it's like a small number.
So it wasn't like an epidemic.
No, it was more like something that some people just went through and just
Well,
because they
here's
did
the
the
thing,
act.
Gold. Here's the thing, Gold. I know you just said it's not epidemic, but STDs do count into the sexual education part. It's not epidemic. That is true. Well, to a degree, that person who gave an STD to another young individual, that girl, that boy, gave their STDs to someone else. Now, I'm going to be under the impression that this person didn't know. All right. That also means that that person had sex with someone else who had an STD. Correct?
Or maybe they're the ones spreading it.
Or they're the one spreading it. What? Yeah, it's just.
Ah, crap.
Oh, that. Oh.
Oh,
I don't like that. Oh
Go
crap!
on, why?
I don't like that.
No, I was talking about like my computer. But
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
don't
okay.
scare
You were like, damn.
Praise God.
You were
God
the
is
shit out of
What's
us.
the question again?
Do not
Damn.
scare us like
Okay,
God
can
is
you repeat
real.
that again?
Basically, what I was saying was, I'm under the impression that this person who gave the STDs didn't know they had an STD. What the fuck?
Oh, bro.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty much it was
sorry.
like unexpected and yeah, for the most part.
This man knows the person. He just laughed at them.
Exactly.
I don't know.
He's like, oh, I'm under the impression that they didn't know. Oh, they knew. He's like, you ever played The Last of Us? You ever seen a
threw-
clicker? That's what that
threw
bitch
me
looked like.
off- What threw me off was how he went from like laughing hysterically to
Exactly.
just, like, coming right back to being a serious person.
Right, like you're fucking
He was
Shino from
trying to-
Naruto.
I've had practice. I've had practice.
What do you mean,
what?
what?
What do you need this practice for?
Mr. Bob, where were you last night? I don't know what you're talking about, officer. I didn't put my hands on that young lady.
Bro.
Excuse me, madam. You have.
I don't like. Oh no! You should stop. You should stop. You should stop. You should stop. You should stop.
Seriously,
We don't-
We found that you have a stage 4 tumor in your.
Jesus Christ, this is getting dark.
Jesus, oh. God
I'm really sorry.
It all starts with birds.
Hold on. You know what? No, I want to hear where this goes. Go, Gold. Go.
I'm really sorry, madam. But we can prescribe you some. Well, we can recommend you some alternative methods of perhaps handling this ailment. We have some strict vegetarian diets. We have, and this is pretty much a last resort.
What?
Keep
Hold on a second. Oh,
Let me stop this.
no, I thought when he said we have alternative methods of dealing with your ailment, I thought that was when he was going to cue in the laugh. I thought he was just going to start laughing.
No, this is a fucking ad read. This nigga snuck an ad read into our podcast. He's like, let me tell you about fish oil pills real quick.
Actually, no, those are.
Oh, it's too late for Gold. He messed up. Are you done with your horror story, Gold?
He got caught.
He got caught.
He's done.
All right, cool.
Do you have any STD, treatment pills or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh wait, quick. No, we'll
about
talk about
that.
that. We'll talk about that later. But back to the whole thing. Back to the whole thing.
Gold.
It's
All
just
right,
like-
real quick. I just want to say this. Gold, you and I had very different high school experience because pregnancy was super public.
Oh yeah, same. It was like they were pregnant enough to the point where in my high school, you knew. It's like they walk around big belly and all that, and you like, oh, she's fat, and it's like, no, she's 9 months pregnant, and you're like, and the thing was, it was very weird because it would be like, we just got out of middle school. What are you talking about? She's 9 months pregnant. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's how it works, I guess, in their fucking world. I guess
Yeah.
there are honestly, while it's 75%. Well, I want to say it's 50% sexual education from both the schools and the parents. It's also the individual itself, because
Yes.
if they have low self-esteem or they have a different idea of sex, like, oh, sex should just, if I want to fuck, I'll go do that. And I can't wrap my head around the fact that some people would have raw sex with an individual that they kind of know or kind of they're
See,
friends
that's
with, and then bam, oh, I have an STD. Bam, I
Or a
have
kid.
or a kid. I know someone who has fucking syphilis from my high school. I stopped going there 3 years ago. I'm talking to my friend. He's like, oh yeah, this kid has syphilis. I'm like, syphilis? Isn't that an ancient disease that died out 400 years ago? He has it. No, he has gonorrhea. That's it.
Gonorrhea. Oh
Yeah.
God, no, that's terrible. Well, they're all terrible, but I mean,
They're all
fuck,
terrible.
dude.
But I don't know, man. There's just so much, because we can keep on talking about it. It like delving into this topic, we see that there's so many levels that goes to it. There's sexual education, yes, but then there's the home education, then there's the issues that happen at school, then there's the personality of the person, then there's how much information they're given, and it
Then
is
there's the whole social media and peer pressure kind of thing.
exactly. And then we went into consent, and it's just so much. All of this. One of a saying that a lot of people know is, I don't remember the exact term of the saying, the word in the saying, the phrase in the saying, but we all know it. Basically, an educated individual is a dangerous individual. And it doesn't have to just be, oh, this person is educated. They can go to any job they want, any school they want. It's like, I'm educated. I'm smart. I can do whatever I want. And I also know, hey, let's not fuck without a condom. Hey, I've heard stories about you. I'm not very comfortable with it. Oh, you said no, I will back up. Common sense, be smart, an educated individual, not just a dangerous individual, but an inspirational individual.
Mhm.
Couple more things. And then, relating to the high school pregnancy bit that
Mhm.
I was. It wasn't so much as you could just tell, because yeah, you could tell when people were pregnant. It was so much so to the point where my sophomore year, I want to say about a fourth of the class. Like you
Jesus.
literally, yeah, you couldn't turn a corner without at least seeing one pregnant girl.
Man.
I'm not even kidding. And it's like,
Hold up. Give me 1 sec. Let me see. Where are we? I need to cut this next joke I'm about to say.
but yeah, I mean, it wasn't so much as an educational problem on my end with like the people down here. It was more so an issue with like their peers talking about how great raw sex is.
Oh my God.
And all that. I hated that
Yeah.
so much.
I mean,
All right.
yes, it does feel good. And I know I have a friend. If you don't mind me interrupting you just for a quick second, Wicked.
Go ahead.
I have a friend. Not going to name her name. Smart young woman, very educated. She taught me that Martin Luther King was friends with some KKK members, but that's another story entirely. She understands that raw sex is dangerous, but that's what she's used to. So that takes part of the whole personality. She understands that it's bad, but it's just what she likes. So take that for what it is. She's in high school. She's not high school. She's in fucking college. I think she's about to graduate before me. So take that as you will.
Actually, perfect segue into condoms.
I mean, if she's into that, then hey, she's grown at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
See, as long as she's being responsible, and as long as she's, either taking a plan B,
exactly.
is what we call
Just be smart about it. That's
Right.
the whole thing, and it's
that's
like
what they teach you. That's what they should teach you. Is like, but oh man, no, we can keep going because I'm about to go back on something.
But it's like, a lot of people in my high school just, took it by word of mouth, and a lot of people just wanted to try raw sex. And I'm just like, okay, there are way too many risks in order for y'all to do this without, somebody getting A, pregnant, or B, an STD. Because let's be honest, don't nobody know who out here.
I do, but that's another story.
I'm talking about in my house.
Oh, okay.
See, that's the thing, though. It's like, another thing is a lot of youth, or the youth that does engage in sexual activities, a lot of them, don't even think about the risks when they're going into them. I mean, I can't really say too much because I'm obviously I've never done it, but from what I've heard from friends, they don't take into consideration hey, should we put are we gonna be careful when we put on a condom? Are we gonna even put one on? Do you have plan B if after when we're done, et cetera, or they don't say, hey, do you have an STD? They don't go asking, hey, do you have this, or hey, would you be comfortable talking about this a little more before we get into it?
Right, but at the same time, it's like you have to.
I mean, I don't expect them to.
No, I know, but just imagine it's like, hey, I want to have sex with you. Yes, of course. Do you have an STD? Bye, nigga. It's an uncomfortable question.
No,
People get offended.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can ask them, do you have an STD? No, that's not a question that you can just ask somebody.
But it's also not a question you should just ignore, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like there are people who lie, of course, and then there are
to
save face because it's like, oh, you have an STD. It's like, yes. It's like, you should have never trusted me because now you're on Snapchat or Instagram.
And it's like,
and then there are the people who are just like, I don't know if I have an STD. It's like, wait, okay, how many people have you had sex with? I'm uncomfortable answering that question. And I'm like, so you're uncomfortable? You will openly answer that you do not know if you have an STD, but you will not answer how many people you have slept with. All right, time to back out.
See, the thing is with relationships is that a lot of factors can be a big deal breaker when it comes to sexual activity.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why people probably don't ask the majority of the time, because they know they're not either going to like the answer or it's a rude question to ask.
Right. Wicked, do you have anything to say before I hit one last topic and then we segue into the next one?
Yeah, going back to the STD thing, my girlfriend, one of my girlfriend's friends, she's been doing a lot. Our senior year, alright, long story short, our senior year, she got caught doing something she wasn't supposed to, so I'm not going to get into that. But basically now, she's been having sex so often and with so many different people that now she has herpes.
Oh yeah, you did tell us.
And she's still having sex with people. So I'm just like, okay, either A, she's not telling them, or B, she's just fucking, the same person that gave her herpes to begin with.
No, you see, here's the thing. I think in some places, if you have an STD, you're supposed to tell them you have one.
No, you're.
It's
in every state, Van. I think that's an every state thing. You're supposed to tell them.
Yeah.
Federal law.
However, in California, sorry to tell you this, Van. It's now illegal. Not legal. It was a felony. But now for you, if someone in California has sex with people, again, we're going off topic with the whole sexual education and all that, but someone with an STD has sex with someone and they don't tell them, instead of getting the whole 7 years, I believe, they get 6 months. And the problem with that is down here in Georgia, or I believe in Atlanta, there was this woman who got an STD, and her brain must have snapped because all of a sudden she's like, I hate men. I'm going to give this STD to as many people as possible.
Jesus fuck.
So she just went out having sex with people men left and right until they caught her. She's in prison for a while now, but if that law was to like drop here in Georgia, she would have been like, oh, and not in 6 months when I'm out, I'm gonna fuck him again. What were you saying, Gold?
Actually.
What?
You're kind of cutting off a little bit.
Sorry, I've actually heard 2 stories like that before.
Oh, yeah, STDs are. If I was about to say in the right hands, no, STD in the wrong hands can be a biological weapon.
Yeah.
And if people were to
In
see,
the right hand.
if people were to see it like that instead of it's a disease, and it sucks because it's a double-edged sword. You guys have seen all the commercials and ads on the internet in the world going like, I have HIV, but you know, with these pills, it's more controllable and it's not a death sentence, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a double-edged sword because now there's people like, yes, I have HIV. I can fuck people raw again and they'll be okay. It may not live that quote-unquote normal life, but they will be a little better off. Giving them that type of information backfires in some of their faces. That is now turned. If people looked at an STD, because this is also going to backfire. If people looked at STDs as a biological like weapon, there would be more fucking afraid of it. There would be less sex and condoms all over the goddamn planet. At the same time, you would ostracize those who do have STDs, as they do now.
See, I get what you're saying. It's like, you don't want to fearmonger people into not having sex because of a person who uses STDs as their weapon of choice, but it's like, you
don't
have
wanna
to
make it
acknowledge
too
there
soft.
are those people that
Right.
that take advantage of these scientific or God-given gifts to, because these medications, these treatments are supposed to be used as means to feel better about oneself, not just feel better, but also live a better life,
Right.
knowing you're getting treated. Some of these other people though, like, are using these as excuses to say, oh, I can just do whatever I want again then.
Right.
I could just go ahead and start fucking people, or I could just start fucking with people and not let them know, period, that I even had a thing.
Exactly.
As long as I'm okay at taking my medications anyway.
Right. Because I have a friend, and I'm not going to say her name. She basically made the same joke. She was like, oh, if I get AIDS, I'll just keep on fucking people. They got drugs for that. You can handle it now. I was like, oh, that's a joke. There are people who, with a straight mind, believe that. And it's dangerous. It's a double-edged sword. I don't want to fearmonger it, but at the same time, I don't want to lighten it. You know what I mean? I don't want to make it like...
Yeah, you don't want to make it seem like something that's just okay now, because it's not.
See, that's another thing. I wouldn't have never thought about that until the talk we're just now having. Seeing, like, I can feel... Because I feel that there are people right now that would be listening to this and being like, well, I never knew that, or why didn't I know about this before? Or, like, why wasn't I taught this? Because I know, like, right now, this is my first time hearing, like, or at least thinking that this could be used, like, in petty ways or irresponsibly.
And this is where I wanted to jump all the way back. Gold, do you have anything to say before I do this?
What about the STD thing?
Anything we've been talking about?
Well,
Yes or no, my guy?
story before about how vengeance thing, the STDs. I don't really have any other questions on that.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard of it. I just didn't think about it in the way we are now
So
until
jumping-
just now.
Right. So jumping back.
I'm more concerned about the thought process.
Right.
Anything.
People who have that mentality. So jumping back, this is something I've actually been leading up to. I didn't want to like mention it because I felt like it would kind of stop what we're talking in our tracks. What we've all been talking about is a reason that people don't want sexual education. Because like Van just said, he never thought about it until we talked about it. I'm giving him sexual education. I'm teaching him about something that he never knew. If I go and I teach kids how to use condoms, how to use birth control, what the fuck are they gonna do?
Someone's gonna get pissed.
They're gonna go off and fucking do it.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna use the information that's given to them and do that exact same thing.
See, that's the thing that happened with Dare and drugs. It's like you introduce them to something directly, and they're gonna get way too curious, especially at a young age. They're gonna be like, "What is this? What? Why shouldn't I do this?
Right.
If it feels good, why shouldn't I? If this, and that, why not?"
Right. So,
Personally, I like to.
no, you can go.
Personally, I like to think that the way I was taught was pretty adequate. You know, like I said, my dad gave me the whole PowerPoint and everything when I was 7, and I, you know, went to sex ed classes all throughout middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the whole thing wasn't broken down for me. I knew the basics when I, you know, like I said, when I was 7. And I knew which parts of that. Basically, I knew the bare bones basics by the time I got to middle school.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna teach a child, you should teach them like the basics. You should tell them like, "Hey, these are things that are gonna happen," and then over time explain to them, "Okay, so these things start to happen too. These are the things you should not do, and the things you should. These are the things you shouldn't do." Like, it shouldn't just be like, "Hey, you see," like you don't just introduce a kid to a condom and be like, "Hey, you see this? This is a condom."
And that's the thing. They taught us various methods of preventing pregnancy, and you know, of what would happen if you got pregnant too young. They told us, you know, about all of that. They didn't show us how to use a condom. They didn't show us how to use one. They just told us use a condom, do have sex, you know, sexual intercourse.
Yeah.
And show us how to use it. They didn't even bring one to the classroom. They just say, you know, there are condoms. Figure it out if you want to know more.
See, I think that's where my school may have fucked up, or maybe it didn't. I don't know, because I never was in the know in my previous high schools and middle schools. But like, they gave when we had sex ed in my school, they gave each individual a condom, and they gave each of us a banana from the cafeteria. They're like, "All right, so we're gonna teach you all how to unwrap the seal. We're gonna teach you how to put it on the banana." So they were teaching us, okay, so this is how you put it on. And so a lot of kids just started joking around with it, obviously, but I imagine, because I also do recall that there was like certain pregnancy issues, certain sexual issues, you know, because that's bound to happen with curious kids, especially since not everyone is raised in the same household, and not everyone retains the same things. But I can imagine that when you introduce a kid to like a condom, or when you introduce a youthful, impressionable mind with something like sex or just anything, you can imagine they're gonna get curious.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be like, okay, so I know how to put this on a banana. Now what if I put it on myself?
Yeah.
Okay, now that I know how to put it on myself, now can I practice safe sex? What if I practice sex?
Yeah, exactly. It's like once you know what you're doing, it's like,
then you start feeling
I know what I'm doing. What's stopping me from trying it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of the problem. Because honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. There are only about 2 things stopping me from trying that out. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really feel like finding out.
Yeah.
You know, I was messing around. I enjoyed messing around. But even still, there were some things that I just did not.
Yeah, because when you're a youth and they tell you, okay, so this is when you're taught the do's and don'ts, you pretty much think it's just common sense, because they're just kind of giving out to you like steps, like instructions. Okay, don't do this. Make sure you ask for consent. If they say no, don't do this. You know, it makes sense. It's just common sense. But when you start telling them like the intricacies of it, they start asking questions.
Yeah, they start figuring stuff out. So it's like you give them the basics. You give them what they need to know, and only what they need to.
But see, I don't want to put too much like weight. Like, I don't want to throw all the guilt on schools, Because I feel
No,
like that also goes to like the parents, but it also goes to the
definitely.
individual too, the way they're raised or the
See,
way they associate with other people.
see,
Well, see, you
there's
can't blame
just
the
so
individual
much.
for.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I agree that it is a lot of parents' job to educate their kids, as well as the schools.
Yeah.
And I believe that in order to adequately educate people while they're growing up, both have to work in tandem. Otherwise, you do have certain instances where that just does not work.
Yeah, but then you end up going back to the thing Blair keeps saying. It's like there are people that don't want other people teaching their kids things.
Yeah, but
Because I can imagine there's reasons behind it. It's one, either vulgar, two, some parents don't even believe in the idea of sex ed. Like Blair said before, there are people that don't even believe that condoms are right. That they're
and
like,
that's
what was it, Blair?
There are people who believe that it c- it's
condoms
mainly a
shouldn't be used.
relation. It's not a relation, but I want to say a religious thing. But there are people who believe that contraceptions, condoms, Plan Bs, anything like that, is an affront to not just God but the natural of nature. There are people. It is not just a religious thing. There are people who are like, no, I don't believe in condoms and all that because it's like if you have sex, if you have a baby, it should be a 50-50 chance. There's nothing that should be stopping it, and there's nothing that should be pushing it.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. If the parents don't want to teach their kids, don't want the school teaching their kids, I should say, then there should be a permission slip offered.
There
You
is.
know,
There are some people. There
I
are some
think there
schools that
was
do
in my
that.
school. I think there was in my school. They asked the students, "Hey, before we have this lecture, make sure your parents are okay with you having this. That an instructor or a professional is having this talk with you." And
oh, okay.
and the majority of them did come. There were a few that didn't show up, and that's what made me very quick. Like that brought a question mark to me. It was like, why don't adults agree that someone should teach them? Because I know adults don't have the time of day or sometimes don't even know how to approach their child about it. So I'm like, why do you restrict your child from hearing from a professional what you can't really, what you're having difficult, or maybe what you need help teaching them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like what Blair said, it's like there are adults that just don't agree to that stuff. Whether it's religion, whether it's tradition, or whether they think it's an affront to nature, or if they just don't want another person talking to their child about it. There are always people that are against it, whatever good or bad there is. There's always that other side of the coin.
Yeah. Honestly, my school didn't even send out permission slips. They just like sent out notifications. They were like, "Look, we're doing this. If you don't like it, hit up one of the teachers. Then we can work out
See,
an
I think,
alternative."
see, the thing I think is like with your school, was it like a problem?
No, it wasn't a problem. It was just like, we're doing this. Don't ask why. We're just doing it.
Because the way you were mentioning it was like you
No,
said
no, no, no.
earlier.
That was my middle school that did the sex ed. My high school was one of the pregnancy problems.
No, yeah, because I mean, if it's like a high school and they're having an issue and they're like, okay, we need to buckle down. We need to just put the foot down. We need to talk about this because it's a problem, you know. Like if it's that, I get it. It's like there's no time for a permission slip. These kids need to know right the hell now that what they're doing is not good.
It was my middle school that did all that. They were just like, "Hey, we're doing this. If you have a problem with it, talk to the principal, talk to the teachers, work something out to where they don't have to attend the class. They'll just have to do an alternative assignment and keep it moving." And that was it. They sent out notifications, not permissions. They're like, "We're fucking doing this. It doesn't matter what you say. They need to be taught this, and so we're going to do it. We're letting you."
I think that becomes another question too. It's like, should we make this mandatory? But the problem is, it's like there are those people that don't agree. So
I say don't make it mandatory. I say honestly, I like the way my they just did it, and they offered an alternative, for anyone who leave. They didn't do permission slip because all right. First of all, permission slips get lost in the mail things like that. You know, kids lose stuff, you know,
No, yeah.
things of that nature. And so, if you just do the class by default and give the parents the chance to call and be like, okay, no, I don't want my child in class, then okay.
Taking a phone call. I'll be right back.
All right then. No,
But
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Like if you're schooling, because it does make sense the way your school did it. It's like it just sent out notifications, and they just did it.
Yeah.
The thing about that's what bugged me about my school was like that it had to ask for permission. It
Yeah.
recognized that people were not going to be okay with it. But I'm like, shouldn't your kid have the right to know though what's going on with their body or what's going to happen or what are some situations they might get themselves into? It's like,
Well, there are people who believe that it's a matter of beliefs. It's not, you know, a matter of
No, yeah.
rights, because rights are subjective.
mhm.
For example, there are still people out there who believe that, you know, black people are inferior to white people, you know. And that's just a pure example. That's not what I'm obviously.
No, yeah, I get you.
You know. So it's not necessarily a matter of rights, it's a matter of beliefs. If somebody doesn't believe that their kid should have access or knowledge about condoms, you know, that's just what they believe. You know,
Yeah.
who are we to say that they can't, you know, decide that for the child? Personally, I do believe that their child has a right, but that's me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
there's. I understand where you're coming from, and from what I'm guessing, you're saying the child has a right to be taught or not. Am I right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I said a while ago, when we jumped into this topic, we didn't realize how many factors we have to take into consideration. Yes,
There you go.
I guess to a point it should be the child's decision, but at the same time, it's like there are so many children that, or not children, but these young adults that make these bad decisions, even if they know
Yeah.
it, even if they don't. So at a point, it's like I can understand. I made that joke about communism in our the art chat because of the red thing, but.
Yeah.
To a certain point, there should be that idea of communism or a controlled factor that is implemented into this sexual education part. I know it's crappy to say is to take away their will, but at the same time, when you sit down and think about it, isn't that basically what a school kind of does? It doesn't give the child a lot of freedom or a lot of will. It's like you take this, you don't really have much like options to do, and you bring it back when the teachers say. And when you get into college, to some colleges it can feel the same way, but a lot of them you have more freedom. You have the ability to step back and sit back and just be more relaxed. At a younger institution, from kindergarten all the way up until 8th grade, they had us walking in lines. There was the line leader, there was the bitch at the back of the line who stared at my ass all the time. There was
Whoa.
there was at
Whoa.
least enough
Sexual
control.
harassment.
There was at least enough control to keep the kids under, like, keep the kids, I don't want to say docile, because that's like the worst word to use when you talk about control.
Keep them in line,
Right,
essentially.
keep them in line.
Pawnee.
So the fact that it's like, all right, we know that these children in our area, and this is an example, this is not every school, we know the children in our school district are having a sex problem. Let us give them the option to sit down and talk to us, or let us explain to them what this problem kind of is, how to avoid it. But they're not going to want to. It's like, we already know this. Like, this is the life we've openly chosen or we fell into, and, we're comfortable with it. Some will, of course, go, yeah, I wouldn't mind sitting down at sex ed class, but at the same time, it's like, no, all right. At the same time, it's like, you just got to, there are certain points where you have no choice but to, wait, Gold.
He can't hear us. We can hear him.
You didn't mute yourself, my guy.
How does that work? How does
He can't hear you.
Oh, no. Okay. But anyways, you guys get what I'm saying. To a certain degree, it is like Wicked said, you can't blame the individual. Wait, that's what you said, right, Wicked, a while ago?
Yeah.
But I believe you can blame the individual. There is that part where it is indeed that sense of self. It is your fault. You chose this.
No, yeah.
We gave you I'm sorry, Vin. We gave you all of this lessons, these options, these chances, and you still
Squandered
up.
it.
Yes, you squandered everything we've given you.
See, because it makes sense when you have to hold the hand of a child and tell them, okay, so this is what's gonna happen. But once it gets to like young adults, when you're a teen,
That's what I'm saying. When
they
you're
tell
a
you
adult,
you're
then,
more
yeah,
conscious
it's not
already.
easy.
You have an idea of what you're doing. You're not a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are complete idiots. Like Van and I were saying, there are people who don't have common sense when a woman or a man says no. People don't understand that. There are people who don't have that. I don't understand where that leap in judgment or logic goes.
It's like where does your headspace go when you hear no and you think maybe was that a yes? Can I persuade
that whole
them?
concept. It's that whole concept of, okay, you know how some girls stop, but they're like, no, stop, but they don't really want you to stop.
Yeah. No, see,
Like I didn't just say girls. I said guys. This is a problem within the male community as well. For gay men and straight men, there are people who just, it's all over the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy.
I'm sorry, I'm taking a drink. But yeah.
I mean, we've been doing this for what, almost an hour? Over an hour?
Let me check the time. Oh man, time goes by when you're spitting that hot knowledge. An hour and 10 minutes.
Knowledge.
Well, an hour and 7 minutes since I gotta go back and delete the 3 minutes. But you know what I'm talking about.
The audience doesn't know, but we know.
We know. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah. I like how I said 30 minutes ago, let's segue into the next topic. And we've kind of been segueing into it. We've been poking at it. But I think it's time for us to fully delve into it. So are you guys comfortable with moving on to the next one?
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of rolling in circles right now, so yeah, moving on to the next topic would be good.
What's the next topic?
Procreation. Condoms, birth control, everything. Like I said, we've been poking at it, folks.
The biggest deal of them all.
What we've been poking at is the fact that it's not a parent thing. Well, it is to a certain degree. It's an everyone thing. There are people who believe, if you don't know, there are people who believe that contraceptives, condoms, and like we've already been saying, those are bad. They stop the flow of what some believe to be
is nature. Some
to believe to be God's plan, and all of that. But Gold. Well, you know where we are. You muted yourself. You didn't mute us.
I couldn't really hear him anyway, so I don't think there's a big problem.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to go off into next. And who wants to lead this? Who wants to lead this expedition into this venture?
Let's see. Where to even begin? We kind of, like you said, we already kind of poked at it. So where to even begin?
Well, we poked at teaching kids, and look where that led us. So you can see how far that can go.
Well, see, the thing is, it's like with contraceptives, like condoms and whatnot, like Plan Bs and whatever. The thing is, I don't think they're talked about enough in the right way. Because, like I said, the thing is with my school, like I said with my school, they each gave us a condom, rolled it on a banana, and then after that, it was like, God knows whatever you want to do with this knowledge. But it's like it's like Wicked said too. It's like once they start hearing raw sex is better or like this and that, and they start getting like these ideas, they start wanting to having it, and then they forget that one of the biggest dangers is having a child. That if you go into this risky, there is the risk of having a child if you want to have unprotected sex, and that there are people that don't even believe in having protected sex.
Right. And where I come off on this is there are parents, individuals who are like, all right, I've had unprotected sex and I'm pregnant. But you know what? I don't feel like having the baby. And they're like, oh, so you're going to abort it? It's like, no, I'm not going to abort it. Once it's born, I'm going to, give it away. It's like, okay. That's not a bad idea, but at the same time,
it's kind of a lazy idea.
I don't want to say lazy.
In some way.
My brother, I was sitting in the car a couple of years ago with my brother. He was talking about his baby. I believe my nephew now, but that doesn't make sense because the time doesn't add up. So I guess he's having a lot more kids than he's telling us. But still, So basically, he was talking to someone on the phone. He's like, I don't know if I want to abort this baby or I want to have a baby in this type of world we live in now. Now, people could be like, oh, that's cringy, or that's such a BS comment. But at the same time, there are people who sit back and look around them and they're like, wow, this world is a little bit, it's not what it used to be in the 50s.
I mean, see, the thing is, it's like, I have that thought too. It's like, if I ever have unprotected sex, and let's say I have a child, do I really want to welcome it to the world we live in? Because it's not all bad, but it's not the best.
Right.
And I'm like, because there's always a question, it's like, people are always thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when they're in intimate, like, professional, deep relationships, they're like, all right, we want a child, but should we wait for it? Or should we, or should we have it now when we're young and we can take care of it? Or should we have it later and see how things roll out?
Right.
Because the thing about having a child, it's like, it's a big responsibility.
Right. And we know a lot of people listening right now are like, yeah, we know this, duh, we have children ourselves. But, Wicked?
Yo.
Gold?
Mm-hmm.
Van?
Yeah. So.
Yes.
I can guarantee you, every single person here has been at a supermarket or a store where a single mother, not literally single, but like a one mother or a couple is walking by and you just so happen to count their kids and you're like, oh, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in your head, you say to yourself, you should have kept your legs closed. Well, I have
to be honest, because see, that's the thing. It's like, the thing is, it's like, I remember this one time we went to the hospital to see my grandmother, and they asked her, how many children do you have, ma'am? And my grandma answered, what was it? It was between 10 and 12.
Okay.
And I was like, how does one person have so many babies, take care of all of them, and like, it baffles me
And
how people can just forget contraceptives even exist sometimes.
And
My grandparents.
Oh, keep going, Wicked. I'll rebuttal.
My grandparents had 12 kids, and it was not easy. They only could keep 9 of them in the house for a long time. Well, actually, no, I can't even say that. They could only keep 7 of them for a long time. My mother's grandparents had to take care of 5 of them because, it's 12 kids. Like,
Yeah.
And I can completely understand all of you who are sitting and you live that type of lifestyle. It's like, I just like kids, or it's like, I don't really see a problem with it. We make do. And I know there are scumbags out there who are like, I only have kids so I can, get a little bit extra off the taxes. You know what I'm saying? And for you, ma'am or woman who is who is out there with that type of mindset, who believes that the only reason you should have kids is
Just to save a little money.
Is to save a little money and get free food, free book bags and diapers, which you wear yourself. You are a cunt. You're a cunt of the day. What is that word? What is the term for the cunt of the day? You're a bitch. I'm sorry, but the fact that you are using that.
See, and that's
we keep touching so many goddamn topics that I just want to tear through.
But see, that also just ties back into our talk. It's like, that's another reason why people just don't use contraceptives. They're like, fuck it. Let's have children and live off the fat of the land. Fuck it. There's a lot of parents that just say straight up fuck it when they have children.
Right. And I know people are probably like, well, I kind of doubt people are saying this. Oh, back in the day, they used to have lots of kids. I'm not talking about like slave days. We know why they had lots of kids back then. I'm talking about like Victorian era and all that crap. See, we don't know why they had kids. They just did. But the thing is, you're not even supposed to have that many kids. The female body, for some strange reason, wears, well, I guess it makes sense, wears down after so many kids. So the fact that you keep doing that, you don't fully recover from that shit. it keeps taking away from your HP bar, your health point bar, and it's not recovering.
There are some women that develop depression from having the child.
Right.
What's it called? Postpartum?
I don't know, man.
I think it's postpartum depression.
We're-
Because I know my cousin had it when she had the child, her first child. She got depressed and wouldn't even be able to take care of the kid because she was so unmotivated.
Right.
It's like there are these risks that come from having a child, having unprotected sex in general, and just not being responsible with yourself.
Right. Now, we're not going off and saying, like, I know how we're coming off. I can hear it from us. I know we sound like we're probably coming off like, oh, everybody who doesn't have protected sex is a cunt. Or everybody who doesn't have who has a baby is an idiot. No, we don't believe that anyway. I know we're coming off like that, but it's mainly because we don't want to jump into the easiest, like, spiraling downwards into hell conversation, which is, hey, fuck your religion, wear a goddamn condom and have some common sense, or fuck your ideals, we jump doing that's burning shit. No, we're not into that. Some of us aren't into that.
See, because my ideology is, as long as a person is responsible with their decisions, knows what they're doing, and is going to be, at least considerate of others, like, it's a matter of being responsible. Right. I don't want someone out there being like, oh, I'm just going to fuck for the hell of it, and who cares if a person gets an STD, or if I get pregnant, or if I get someone else pregnant. It's like, you have to be responsible as a human being to do your part in society and say, and think, should I be a more considerate person about how I engage sexually? Or, should I just not have sex at all until I'm ready?
Or should I just go crazy?
See, because it's like, I want people to come out of this conversation thinking, maybe I should be a little more conscientious of the way I behave when it comes to my sexual activity. Exactly. Like if it's a sex worker and that's what they do, it's like that's perfectly fine. And people have their professions.
Let me come up there and let me help out the sex workers for a minute. Everyone I know has a very bad opinion of sex workers, prostitutes, escorts. I don't like the word hookers, but hoes. And the thing about it is, it is their job. As bad as it sounds, it is their job. It's how they make their living. It's how they make their money.
They get a lot of bad rap.
Yeah, they get a lot of bad rap. It's how they go home and all that. All these people were saying, and I know this is going way off topic, but I just had to add this in because it really helps out if people understand this. Trump and the government passed these laws that basically said you can no longer sell work or sex online. Craigslist and all that, right?
Fuck.
You guys heard this, right?
So,
right.
You didn't hear that?
Right?
Yeah, yes. I heard it.
Gold? You've heard this, right?
Where'd he go?
Huh?
Just say yes,
that
boy.
by chance, it kind of flew over me.
What is he saying?
He says he didn't quite catch it. He wants you to repeat it so he can get it better.
You've heard of the government, removing the ability to sell sex on, not sex, but, I guess sex, on Craigslist and all these other websites, right? In America, correct?
Fuck. Actually, no, I never heard of that. If anything,
No, neither did I, to be honest.
Well, a lot of people are like, yeah, we did it. We got rid of online, whatever. Here's the thing. The sex workers were using those websites to protect themselves. Instead of going on the fucking street and finding random Bill and never going home, they can go and fucking background check him. Hey, Miranda or Greg, male escort workers, I'm about to go work with this client. I've heard you've worked with them. What is your opinion on them? The response would be, this man's a psychopath. He bites people's ears off. Do not go with. That was their way of background checking and keeping themselves safe. Ever since Trump removed that, escort workers are going missing again. So I just wanted to add that part. If you think something is good, there's also a bad side to it. Yes, it did help stop sex trafficking. However, It also fucked up a lot of sex workers. Not to mention that this only affects America. So Canada's internet, Mexico's internet, the European internet, that shit's still going. They only blocked off one route for sex trafficking. So just wanted.
That's not even counting the fucking dark web. That's a whole different subject. So
Exactly.
we're just gonna remain on the safeties of sex ed,
Sex ed, sex education, contraceptives, all of that.
and thereof.
Also, and just for all you who don't know this, contraceptives, apparently there's a pill that you take and you don't get an HIV or STD after you have sex with someone raw.
What?
Yeah.
It's always good. It's always important to look at your alternatives.
Yeah, apparently this is a real pill.
I'm not. What magic pill is this?
I don't know, but they've been talking about it. Like, legit companies have been going like, yeah, this pill exists. It's not the cure. It just really stops the part of you, getting infected.
It's not the cure, but it really helps.
It really helps. It really just does the preventing job.
Yeah. So, not a contraceptive, but it is useful for stopping the spread of STDs. So please.
I think that should be their slogan. It's like, it doesn't cure it, but it does stop the problem.
My thing is, why is it not more popular?
Well,
See,
why
that's
is
what
it
I was asking just right now. Like,
we probably got to look
like-
into it, and it probably depends on how it's made. It could be like stem cell research. For those of you who are too young and don't know what stem cells are, aborted fetuses. If you ever wonder what happens to some of them, they are donated to science and stem cells. Yeah.
are you really? Are you for real? I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Damn,
wow.
I'm learning a lot more than I thought I would today. I
And
thought I was gonna come out teaching. I ended up getting taught.
Yeah. And okay, this is going to sound like a shitty thing to do in my opinion, but I'm pro-choice. Yeah, pro-choice. Yeah, I had to think about that for a sec. You do, even when I said even though I said force the kids to learn about sex ed, you have a choice over your body. If you do not feel comfortable with that child, or you do not believe that you can go on, or you are under the impression that, or are told, if this child comes out, it will live, but you will perish, and you take the choice to abort the baby, I will not call you selfish, I will not call you weak, and I will not pity or be disgusted at your actions. This is
It
your
is a
choice.
responsible decision.
It is like, this is your choice. You made it. The repercussions and all of that is for you to bear, but I can guarantee you will not be alone when you do it. There will be support pillars. They won't be able to feel that exact pain you feel, that exact the emotions that's going on through your body, but there will be support pillars. That being said, if you are to abort a child, I believe that many people should take into consideration stem cell research. Now, I'm not really going to go into it all. It's been a while since I've actually talked about it, so I'd have to do a little bit more reminding research. But it does help. If you don't know what stem cells do, in the briefest of terms, it helps. Give me a second. Stem cells are basically the cells that haven't fully figured out what type of cells they'll be. So if a doctor was to take stem cells and move them into an area of a already grown human body or young human body, those cells would essentially get
Attune.
Yeah, they would get attuned to the area they are in the body or whatever the job of that section is, and they would be like, okay, I guess I will be a skin cell. That's the cell I want to be. I'm going to help you regrow this. Because fun fact, babies already kind of act like that. If the mother is wounded or cut, the baby will use its own cells to quickly speed up the healing process of the mother.
I swear to God, I am learning more and more. Holy fuck.
Yep. And
That is goddamn impressive.
it is. It really is. So yeah, but once again, back to the whole contraceptive thing. If this is your choice not to use it, I fully understand what you're doing, or I understand, your mindset of why you're going through with it, or you don't believe in it, whether it's religious or it's a personal belief, or you don't trust, like, because I know people are like, oh, condoms, they only work 90% of the time. What about that 10%? I was like, well, that's
That
it.
is
That 10% is only when they rip or they're a whole.
That 10% is when me and Gold walk into a CVS with a bunch of needles. There you go, Steve.
Basically, quite literally.
Quite
That
literally.
is that 10%.
If you see me and Gold walking through, you better be ready. You better go, well,
Stay ready.
We're not buying from here.
buy from another CVS. There are plenty more where that
You
came
gotta buy
from.
from Rite Aid.
You better hope he didn't come through. Excuse me, did you see a black man in blue and a white and a... I'm sorry, Gold. A black man wearing a blue jacket and a black man who looks like Jesus walk through. We did. Damn. But
Don't sell any condoms.
But yeah. Gold, Wicked, either of you have anything to say to add on to this?
I just want to say real quick. Don't listen to. All right. First of all, for anybody who is looking to have sex, or,
You're cutting out, man.
Yeah, you
okay.
cut.
Oh, give me a sec. Okay. So for anyone looking to have sex, if you're a virgin, whatever, do not listen to a lot of the bullshit that your friends or your peers might spread because about raw sex, because it's not that different if you're using the right condom. It's not that different.
It's just a matter of investing in your safety or your responsible choice. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
I've never had it, so I don't know. I couldn't be
No,
too
you're
sure.
100% correct, man. It's just
But
a matter of
essentially-
simply investing in your personal choice, in your protection, in her protection, and his protection. And just like Wicked here is saying, raw sex, find the right condom. Experiment, go around, find.
Exactly.
There's like, oh, Trojan, Magnum, Blur PX, all these type of condoms that actually exist and are on the store now at $12.99 at your local Rite Aid.
Oh, and when you say experiment, try to be, selective. Don't just go around fucking everybody.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I've seen so much bullshit spread throughout social. I've seen so much bullshit spread throughout social media about how, condom sex is this and condom sex is way worse than raw sex and blah 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 blah. Here's the thing about all those people: they're either lying to you or they have not tried the right condom.
They're
First of all-
talking out of bias.
I remember seeing a comment that said condom sex is like wearing a trash bag when you jump into a pool. It was something crazy. He said basically condom sex is like wearing a trash bag when you jump into a pool.
Man, his condom must have been too damn big.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, what
I
condom are
can
you
imagine
using?
that. That's a big
I'm
ass.
like, what?
That
I'm
is
over
the
here looking
saddest
like, what?
thing I could hear.
I'm like, what the hell kind of condoms are you using,
Exactly.
bro?
It's like, let me
Obviously,
see
you're
these.
using the wrong kind.
I steal it from like, what is that? Magnum medium, nigga. What? You can't fit this.
Oh, fun fact.
You can't.
Here's a funny fact, and this is probably going to be pretty obvious, but it turns out that the reason why condoms have different sizes is just out of other people's insecurities. I mean, a condom is already pretty goddamn elastic.
Yeah.
So I get it if a small probably doesn't fit you, but if a medium or a large doesn't fit you, and if you're going for extra large, that's probably more of an insecurity issue than it is a matter of your size, since condoms are pretty elastic. They should fit you no matter what size you get them in.
But if
unless
you are
Almost.
wearing a extra large
If you up
condom
your
and you
size,
look me in the
yeah.
eye and go like, "This is too small," then we will bow
Yeah.
down to our new Lord and Savior. Without question.
This size is too small. I returned all of them. Wait, what?
Exactly.
Just returned the condom after you used it. It didn't work.
Really. He's like,
It
sir,
didn't fit.
sir, this is an extra large. What are you talking about?
It didn't fit.
It didn't fit. It was just too small. It only wrapped around halfway.
I like the way
What the hell
he
are
sounded like
you?
Orbital. I like the way when Dan said that he sounded like it
I'm gonna have to
didn't fit.
re-listen to that.
It
It
didn't
just
work.
didn't fit.
It just didn't work.
He
Take
just
it
wraps
back.
his arm around the cashier and was like, step outside with my millions of followers. He's like, what the hell? They're all wearing like semen white robes.
Jesus. Wait, I don't like this. Hold on a second.
That's what the cashier said. He's like, I don't like this.
Oh, wait, I don't like this. What?
These are your followers?
Like,
Excuse me?
all one. Hold up, let me see real quick. Keep talking real quick while I do some stupid ass math.
They start speaking the Latin.
He just asked.
Somebody here looking like, what the fuck is going on?
He's like, did you ask me out to see your team, like your followers of, your cult followers of semen dressed people or the KKK? Which one is it? It's like, it's either or. It can't be both.
Both.
It
Both.
can't be both.
It can't be both. Both. Just both. Like, he doesn't say anything after that. Just both.
It was as plain and simply as when he said it was too small. The condom didn't fit.
And he's like, take a gander at my 15 million followers. And the dude's just in there. Wait, I don't get it. He's like, there's 15 million sperm in a testicle. These are all your children? Yes. Your condom didn't fucking work, remember?
That's why he returned the whole box. I just wanted him the whole box.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. I tried all 20 of them. Didn't work.
20? What the fuck, man? I only get like 8.
20? Yeah, I'm about to say, what?
Look, my guys.
Well, no,
I've never,
because see, them skin big packs, you feel me?
you see, the thing is I've never bought in a fucking pack since I don't actually get sexually active, so I don't fucking know.
Okay. Alright,
So I could probably imagine a box of 100 for all I gave a damn.
alright.
Just pull out your wallet. There's
I'm gonna tell you
100
something, man.
condoms
I'm gonna tell you
rolling
something
right
that's
out.
gonna hurt you
There's only
deep to
about
the
10
core.
or 15 bucks.
A condom box, like the ones I get, the extra small ones that fit around your pinky, because I like to get weird sometimes.
What the fuck?
Them shits cost like, I think, $10.
See, this is why you go to Planned Parenthood and just ask.
Oh,
I think that-
hell no, they look at me funny every time. I'm the type
just be
of
like,
dude-
hey, I'm gonna have sex. Ah, all right, here you go, 1 condom.
Can
I'm gonna need 2 for round 2.
Round 2. Yeah, so I feel like we've gone over it. I was almost wanted to talk about how sex ed is taught in college. Yes, they still teach sex ed in college. It was actually interesting. They taught us about STDs, and they basically taught us like common big misconceptions that do not bastardize, wrong word, that do make STDs seem more scary than they are. You know, like HIV and that shit is like I know I know people feel stupid for asking this, but they're like, what if a mosquito bites Magic Johnson and then you I swear to God, this is what this kid said. He sat in the back, he's like, so imagine you're just at a barbecue outside at Magic Johnson's party and there's mosquitoes. Would I be getting Magic Johnson's, magic AIDS?
Bro.
Magic AIDS?
And I just sat there and I was like, what the hell? You was a
His magic
ballsy
AIDS.
white kid. But the teacher was
AIDS.
like, no, that's not true. That's not how it works. You can't spread it through saliva. It's blood, semen, all that fun stuff.
all that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
Blood and semen, just all the good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That's a
bro.
Saturday night.
Not fair.
Blair was saying it like it's an everyday thing. We're over here like, what? Hold on.
Exactly. We're
Shut up. Oh, you shut up. Gold. So, Gold, do you have anything to say? I know you've been kind of quiet, and seeing as the youngest dude, like, do you have any questions for us or anything?
Not for me though.
Well, pretty much just some statements.
Go for it, man.
Pretty much a solution in which is, well, according to my beliefs, the way sex is done in our culture, like how it's so, well, a way to say flamboyant, and how, people experiment and stuff like that, it's pretty much against it, basically, because you know, like how, like basically, it's supposed to be between two people. You know,
Yeah.
the best way to explain it is like you're trying to buy a house without a contract, right? You know, like if you don't have that contract, then no one's, you know, liable if anything happens to that house. And you know, since there's no liability, if one person, you know, it's like, oh, you know, I'm tired of this. I just don't want to, you know, I'm done with this. I'm just gonna leave. You know, and it could be for absolutely no reason. They can just get up and leave, and pretty much, you know, there's no liability. And that's gonna leave like a pathway of, you know, some stuff, some unsettled stuff here that's pretty much gonna be just looming over sometimes. So, but in my beliefs, pretty much, it's best within, you know, marriage, basically.
So basically, you're the kind of guy who says, you're gonna wait. Oh yeah, you said this before. You're the kind who's
He
gonna
did
wait,
say
right?
that.
And
I
there's
remember
nothing
that.
wrong with that
Yep.
whatsoever.
No, yeah,
More
that's
secure,
perfectly
really.
fine. No, yeah, I think something he touched on a little bit was sexuality, too. I think I heard a little bit of that too.
Wait, when did we talk about this?
You said something about
It was about a week
flamboyant.
ago. I remember it.
It was during Fortnite too.
Yeah.
I think we were saying something. I don't remember what the conversation was,
Alright,
but you
I
said you were
remember.
gonna wait.
We were breaking down trees, and then all of a sudden we randomly hear a gold go like, "I hate gays," and we all just stopped. We're all like dumbfounded by what the
We
fuck
can't be
just
friends.
happened.
We can't be
so
friends
lost.
anymore, Gold.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. We were just stuck.
I hate gays. It was like,
Like it was that
What?
so bad. We let the fucking storm kill us.
Like we just couldn't process what he just said.
Yeah, it was like, okay, gold. No
Okay.
context whatsoever.
Wait a minute.
wait a minute. Yes,
Oh, I
you
thought you
said
meant
it.
someone else.
Yeah. No, you
I
said
was
this with
about to
all
say
hate. You said this with hate in your belly. We could feel it.
It was
The earth
you were
shook.
orbital.
I remember saying that.
The earth shook.
If I said it, may it be forgiven.
You are forgiven, but
I
do
was-
you continue to
I was
hate the
expecting
gays?
this man to be like straight up thugging. He's like, if I may have said it, I meant it. I was like, damn, gold.
If I said it, I meant it.
See, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. To hate to pretty much like hate a homosexual man is pretty much it's the same thing as like hating a liar, basically. It's just that often people don't see that, you know, because I don't know,
What?
you know, lying is.
I'm gonna.
Hey,
have
yeah,
Wait a
oh, gold.
Wait a
I'm gonna
minute.
need you to
Wait,
I'm gonna need you to
gold.
really explain that one, because from what I
Yeah,
just heard
yeah.
you
Be
say,
careful.
hating a gay is the same as hating a liar. Hold on a
yeah,
second.
that kind of
Yeah,
came off
what-
kind of wrong,
I-
my friend. You're gonna have to repeat that one.
Yeah.
Okay, the context pretty well in the context of.
Okay,
like,
so do
know,
you hate gays or not?
No,
No.
let him explain. Let him
I
explain
don't
this
hate
one.
them. No, I do not hate gays. Okay, if I would
Right.
hate gays, then I would have to hate liars. Therefore, I would have to hate myself, because you know.
Oh,
everybody
okay,
says,
I
you know,
get it. If
something
he
that
says
they
he
don't
hates
think-
gays, he also hates liars. Which means he
No,
hates
like,
himself
yeah.
because he's lying. Wait, wait, no!
What kind of triad of fucking intricacies is this?
No, I got it.
Logically, in
He's
order
no,
to
I got this
validate
gold. I
that
got this
hate-
gold. I got this. Don't worry, I'll explain it. Okay, so he says if he hates gays, he hates liars, which means he hates himself because he's lying. So he doesn't hate gays. All right, does that
Because
make
I
any
would be
sense?
lying, and he hates liars.
Right,
Oh, okay. That makes sense
Oh.
now.
right. So he's
What?
in order
Oh.
to be. No, it's not like something that I'm bound to. It's more like
You should have just stopped.
if you do this.
Stopped. You
think
should have
I
just.
actually got a headache from trying to wrap my head around that.
You should have just said
Like,
you're
I'm
right.
trying to
Mark."
explain that to for it to be validated, or rather to let's say logically, you're gonna have to. Damn! Now I'm tired.
I told you. You should have just stopped. When I helped explain it, everyone was like, "Oh, now we understand. Now we get world peace." And Gold's like, "No, bitch, that's not what I meant."
We're all just sitting there confused. As
Nah, I think what fucked me up was how he was like, yes, but also.
But also,
I was like, wait a second, that was it.
that's both what I meant and not what I meant.
That is both what
If
came
that
out of
makes
my mouth
sense.
and both
Oh,
fake news.
If that makes sense. No, Gold, it doesn't make any sense. Well, too bad.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take it somehow. Unlike the Bible, I make a lot of verses. People just
as long as
interpret it.
he openly admitted he's cool with gays, it's like there's no big deal.
Yeah, he
It's
did
all
say.
good.
Yeah, we're all just messing with him. We know.
What?
that- What?
I don't support, homosexuality, but
Why?
Oh,
Did you continue?
What?
Stop talking!
I just said I don't hate gays.
No, just stop talking. Stop talking. Don't. Trust me.
I don't hate.
Trust. No.
Okay.
Don't. Please trust me.
Hold on. I think I know what he's trying to say. I know what he's trying to say. He's saying that he respects them. He just does not agree with it.
Yes.
No, I know
I
exactly what
respect
he's trying to say.
Okay,
He's
stop
trying to
there,
say,
stop there.
all right,
Just
everyone,
stop.
this has been a
Just
good JT. I'm just kidding.
I was drowning. I was coughing and
I heard. I was like, my
I couldn't
God.
fucking breathe, dude. Fuck.
I was like, we were doing so well. God, we need a PR
died.
team for you, Gold. We need someone just like. All right,
Just for gold.
here's what we
I
all
was like-
wrote. Here's what we all wrote. It's like, all right, man, something about anime titties. That's good. Orbital. All right. Hitler killing Jews. Okay, we'll accept that. Blur. Rape. All right, no, nothing wrong with that. Wicked. White hates white people. Gold. No, Gold. No. You can't say this.
It's okay to like anime titties.
It's okay
It's
to like
okay.
anime titties.
It's okay to kind of poke fun at white people a little bit. It's okay to take a little light heart to rape. You can't say shit about the gays, Gold. You can't say shit about the gays.
We almost had it. We were doing so good. We were steering it in the right direction. We were almost to the fucking like lighthouse, and then Gold reaches from under me, grabs the fucking ship like controls, and goes, "Yeah!" We're back into the storm, damn it. We're back into the storm, damn it. God damn it! Now we have to have a conversation about this next week or 2 weeks from now.
Someone's gonna comment, the JT are homophobes, transphobes, they don't support the LGBT.
And he's still giggling. This was a fucking plan. And he just wanted to anger us. He just wants to anger us. Gold, use a drama starter. You should go work for Keemstar. My
What?
God.
Bro,
I'm being serious here.
I'm weak.
it's okay, Gold. We get you. We could stop the conversation.
We can.
Basically,
Oh.
you're people too, okay?
Okay.
No. We're done. Every time he says something good.
Okay.
Every
That's
time he
perfect.
says something
That's
good, it's like, yeah.
That's perfect.
That's
That's
perfect.
all we need. That's
They're
perfect.
people too. They're just like you and me. Alright, so I want to end this off because I realized a long time ago, early in the podcast, every single person here explained how they got the talk, and Wicked kind of explained how he got the walk, if you know what I'm saying. So I guess I should say it.
Yeah.
I never had the talk.
Oh,
The way I learned about sex is through hentai. At the age of 6, I watched 8 hours straight hentai. Couldn't masturbate, couldn't do anything, just sitting there with a hard, tiny dick.
Actually,
And
actually,
I was just like sitting there. I was like, but it was so confusing, cause this dick
Actually,
came out of this
no,
woman, and I was like, oh.
Okay. Complex.
So he was like, okay, so there are people that have a dick by nature, but there are also there's the other side that can develop a penis.
Yeah, pretty much. That is pretty much.
All of that as a 6-year-old, like you know, how confusing, bro. I can only imagine how confusing you were. I mean, how confused you were.
For me, my sexual activity started at the age of 4. Right, 4.
What?
Yeah, I was already like,
No,
had,
yeah,
like, fetishes and everything.
me and Blair seem to be fucking mature for
Yeah,
our age.
Like, the reason I want to end this off here is because it's like mine is more like a comedy story. It's like I was sexually, like, not sexually. I wasn't banging the other babies, of course. You know, no. I already had like fetishes, and I was like, I already knew what I liked. My first kiss was in pre-K. And that was a real kiss, and it was with a white girl. So you know I was breaking boundaries. I was Martin Luther King before Martin Luther King, you know, came into my life as a dead man. But
As a dead man.
he was already dead by that time, so it was like nothing really changed.
Well, as long as he doesn't come into your life as your dad.
Yeah,
that's all
that'd be painful. It's like, my dad is Martin Luther King. I am such a disappointment with all my hate mongering.
Bro.
But at least I have gold by my fucking side. Anyways,
I have gold.
And I thought I was VP.
but yeah, but seriously though, it's like I started there, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I had sex before. I had to talk around the age of 18, so I was like 4 years into having sex and stuff, and it was the most disturbing talk I ever heard. I didn't get the whole bells and whistles. All I remember is my dad was like, when a man and a woman climax together, it's beautiful, and that's all my brain allows me to remember.
Bro.
Wow.
Bro.
Yeah, that is all I remember.
Shit.
Exactly, like, wow.
Bro. Like, I get the whole experimenting like at 4, because I think I started experimenting at 5. So I was confused as shit. I was like, alright, so my body does this. And then, like, when they started teaching me sex ed, I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
Now it all makes sense.
So that's why that didn't bend when I tried to grab it from that angle. It's
It was
all
like, why am
up.
I was 5. I was like, why am I pee-pee big?
Why am I PPV? Fucking bad. Like, I understood the concept of like my dick getting hard, but I never knew why it just.
Wait, you understood the concept? What does that mean? You knew there
Like,
you knew there was
Like,
blood
no,
flow?
no. I understood that like
Oh,
once certain things like excited me, you know, it would get hard. But I always wondered why it just wouldn't bend, or why it got hard. I just knew it was something that happened.
Ah, okay. I was like, so you knew about the blood flow? I thought it was just like magic. Like, I didn't even question it. It just happened.
I didn't even
It
question it.
happened to
I was
me.
just like, I just thought it felt good. I'm just gonna let it happen.
It felt good. So fuck it.
It happened a lot more than it should have. Like, you know that, oh, you can turn into 24-hour man. If you become 72-hour man, please call the ambulance or whatever. I was 3-week man or baby man or whatever. It was
Baby
just
man.
constant going.
I'm not gonna lie. I think if I hadn't like stopped, I don't know at what age, like I just stopped. I don't know, at some point I stopped. If I hadn't stopped, I think I would have become a very, very problematic serial sex addict, and that would
Nah, I
have been
think
very
you would
terrible
become
thing.
me, honestly.
You?
Yeah,
Oh.
you?
You? I don't
Then
see
again,
how-
I
I
know.
might have a problem.
I know. Pre-K is when I kissed a girl. I know. I was probably 6 when I messed with my first boy. And so, yeah, Gold. What you gotta say? Yeah. Watch me, boy. Anyway,
Where's gold?
he's still here.
he's triggered. You angered him.
He has no real comment to say about this one because he's actually, Gold, you do have something because we want to know what baby Gold was like. Oh, you know, I was dropping the blue Tic Tacs in their milk bottles when they were, well, you know. It was like, what? You were.
Uncle Cosby, you know. Uncle Cosby was showing me the basics.
He was teaching me the sleight of hands. When we were doing patty cake, I would just drop a little bit, like in crumbs. You know what it is. I don't know what it is, Gold. I don't want to know what it is, Gold. How do you know what it is, Gold? How did you learn?
You shouldn't know what it is.
That's where all this. That's where all this dark humor comes from.
It probably
In fact, what is this it you speak of?
you know, nap time.
Oh, that nap time.
Gold?
Yeah,
Gold?
But yeah, so
what kind of
I
rap?
started really young, but in the end, the light at the end of the tunnel was I have to thank God for this one girl, because she was the reason that I probably do not have a mini Blur running around at super speed. Because she was the one, she knew how to put a condom on.
She was like, "Nope, Blur, we gotta wrap that thing up."
Yeah, pretty much. She was like, she knew how to put a condom on. She loved me, and it was all great. And so it's like there was really no reason. And of course, I am a bit out of control when it comes to certain things. I can't tell you the exact amount of people I've messed around with. Just
Could you even count? Like, could you? Are you just saying that because you can't even count it?
I've recently counted them, and it's not a big number, but it's how many people are on this Discord? How many are
There's
30.
about 40.
okay?
30, 40-ish.
I want to give a hint, but then you'd figure it out. So no. So basically, like the end of the tunnel is.
What the fuck touched my shoulder? That is creepy. No, I didn't like that. What was that?
Oh wait, that's happened to you too? That's so weird.
It just happened.
That's
Like,
the
what the
ghost of
fuck?
a justice team feeling on you, just trying to tell you.
Low key, that happened to me earlier, like zero bullshit included.
That better not been my fucking rabbit. I'm about fucking shook right now.
That'd be weird. You're a rabbit. You die and you're floating up to heaven. You're like Benny. That's your rabbit's name, right?
It was Glenn.
Oh, Glenn was your rabbit?
Glenn was. What did you guys think my rabbit's
I
name?
thought
Benny!
Glenn was a dude.
No, Glenn's my little bunny, and it's a girl too.
Oh!
Wait, why'd you name your female rabbit Glenn?
Because we didn't know at the
Oh
time.
man, this
when we
makes
named
this
it.
joke worthless. I was gonna say you go up to heaven and see Benny. You see Glenn.
Benny.
You see this 6'2"
Benny.
tanned man with an 8-pack and buffed muscles like Hugh Jackman, but a bunny head just
Oh, bro.
waiting for you in heaven. And then you land in his arms and you're like, Glenn.
Looking like,
Glenn, is that really you?
You're
It's
just
like,
like,
I've been waiting for you, man. I've waited all this time,
I've
and
been
now we can be
touching-
together.
Look, I've been touching your shoulder during the podcast. Really? It was you? I should have known those human-sized fingers were you.
Bro.
And then the clouds close on you. And that's the end of Van's story.
And that's how I
like
ended up. And that's how I
Rupert.
Bro.
That would be one perfect way to die. I wouldn't question. I'd be like, "Oh my goodness, this is it, my next chapter." But yeah, so,
That's our next comic.
Oh, that'd be great. But yeah, Gold, you wanna?
Justice Scene's Afterlife.
Oh yeah,
That's my death scene. That's my death.
Glenn. But yeah, Gold, do you wanna
Wait,
add?
Glenn?
Do you wanna add on to this? You wanna bring in how you were as a child, or if not, we can end it right now. It's up to you, buddy.
As a child,
I heard T'Challa. That was all I heard.
He said a child.
Oh.
my mom did bring up this one thing where it was like she came home from work, and like it was in a crib, and so
A little too young, my
smelled
friend.
something. When she entered my room, like she smelled something,
I don't like where this is going.
and when she entered my room, pretty much she saw that I was like covered in like shit.
All right, we're done. 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 We're
It
done.
was surprising.
Bye.
We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done.
Bye.
We're done.
Bye.
We're done.
Bye.
Gold, shut up. All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this
Okay, wait,
podcast.
just a warning. Hold up, just a warning.
No, there's no warning. The warning is
No, this is about.
the warning is he wrote on the wall, "Gays are evil."
So,
in his.
They say that. So, just a few things.
Oh my god.
A new chicken disease came out or something like that in China. Go search that up. Incredibles 2. There's actually been reported seizures from the strobe effect. You know.
Yeah, because the whole screenslaver new villain, whatever. Like,
I've already been spoiled. I didn't even know his
And they didn't
it's
release a
not
warning.
spoilers. It was in the trailer.
I didn't know
Not
his
spoilers.
name was that.
It was in the trailer.
That's actually a pretty badass name.
To be honest, I
Very
forgot the
important.
name already. So let's
It's
keep
better
it
that way.
Yeah.
Screenslaver,
Why would the fuck would you say it?
because I'm an asshole.
You are. You're just like Gold, covered in shit.
Nah.
Just riddled with
Like
it.
Gold, why would that be the
Just
story you go
riddled.
to when you heard what we were talking about? We were talking about, were you like a tiny
We're
little
being recorded. Why was that the story you go to?
We were talking about our sexual thoughts as youth, or if we even
as
had any.
babies?
Not
As
fucking,
children.
not over here, or maybe, maybe he's into scat.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Maybe
say that.
he's
I kind of
into
was gonna
sketch.
make that joke, but I was like, no, that'd be horrible.
Wait, what?
Being 3 and figuring out you're into scat.
He's like, you know what? I don't need a
understand
diaper.
what-
I think you can kind
I
of
don't
figure it out.
understand
I
what
think you
that
can
is.
kind of figure it out. Just sit down
I
and think to
can't.
yourself. He's like, ooh, I like the feeling of this diaper. It's like, go get out of there.
What?
So we all heard the little voice, right?
I don't.
This aches.
Oh, because I just a joke.
It's not a joke. Is I made the little wah sound kind of went through someone else's speaker and we could hear it.
Oh,
It was disgusting. It was nasty.
my. Whoops.
Nah, that's good. It made it all better.
Alright, so what did we learn? What did we learn today?
Well, I have not learned.
Honestly,
Well,
what did
well-
we learn?
Well, I learned a lot about stem cell research. I'll tell you that much.
Mhm.
And if we forget anything, we can always just go back to the goddamn video.
Right. Gold, what did you learn? Wait, Gold, what did you learn?
No,
today?
don't ask him anything.
No. I want to see you. Because even though Gold doesn't talk a lot, he does not know a lot, so he must have learned something.
Pretty much just be careful when you're pretty much, sleeping around or something like that, If anything, be careful with who you sleep with
Oh, okay.
and how you do it. And basically, it does matter how and when, you're educated about these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, and I think
what did you
and I-
learn?
I learned that you all share my opinions on biological.
What did he say about Metroid Prime?
I said I learned that you all share my opinion. These being used as biological warfare.
Ah, okay. And
Oh
I-
yeah, that was the other thing I learned.
And I
That
learned
apparently people can be dicks.
and I
about
learned that never let Gold steer the ship, ever.
No,
Never.
God,
Not bad.
My bad. That's all he had to
My
say
bad, it won't
about it.
happen again. Until next time.
You're forgiven. I'm surprised that didn't come out of Orbital's mouth.
Orbital would be like even worse.
Yo,
He would be
Orbital
so
would-
shocked.
Oh my God.
Orbital would
Bro.
say something stupid, but he would be like, "You can't say that." I'm gonna hear something from his mouth once he hears this. I swear.
He's gonna be like, I don't sound like that.
He's gonna say that too. Yes. But yeah, I learned. I didn't really learn anything. I pretty much knew most of this.
Well, see, the thing is,
Only
it's like
thing
most of
I
the
kn-
conversation.
Oh wait, no, I
comes-
learned more about the people in this group. I learned more about them as youths and more about them, and they learned more about me as a young child. And I learned about their experiences in their lives in the world and how they are affected and what affected them.
Yeah,
Give me a
and
second.
that's always important to know about your peers too.
Give me a second.
So anyway, I guess if we're gonna like
Hold up,
leave,
I'm not done. Someone just
Ooh.
like made me unzip something. Hold up.
unzip something.
Hold up.
Hold on a second.
Man.
During the podcast.
Yeah, I know. It was, yeah, I don't have a lock on my door yet. One day.
Unzip what?
Oh, my mom. She was like, "Hey, can you unzip the back of my dress for me? Because you know how women are. We like dresses that break our backs when we try to undo it." Anyways, but yeah, I learned more about my peers and my friends here and my family, and understood where they're coming from and how what they have experienced have affected them and changed them in the future. I learned that Gold is a horrible human being, shouldn't be allowed free will or to see the sunlight ever again. And as a baby, he was a monster, or even worse.
He discovered scat at the age of 3.
Yeah,
I don't support the game. Seriously, what a scab.
scat is when you. Should I tell him?
Yeah, we'll
Please
end it on
do.
this.
Well, scat is basically just it's a fetish where you're into in like shit or piss. I think piss is involved too, but it's mainly shit. I think there's another one for vomit.
And as you can see, how Gold took everything we said and went, well, there was this one day my mother found me in the room.
Yeah, that explains a lot. Okay.
It actually threw me off. I was like,
Yeah.
Gold, do you have any experiences? He was like, well, this one time my mom just found me shitted on.
Like, what?
The funny part is, if we ever finish the story, he's going to be like, in like 4 years, we're going to ask, so Gold, whatever happened to that story? Well, they found out the man who did it to me. Wait, what?
So they found out my dad was just fucking around. It was a big prank on my mom.
And it got a little out of hand.
We
The
don't,
laxative.
we don't really see eye to eye anymore.
It worked a little too well.
We don't really see eye to
much
eye anymore ever since we got the pink eye, but, you know. But yeah.
I'm not seeing him too much anymore. I think he might have had a lawsuit filed against him.
But yeah, anyways.
I just hope it isn't. I just hope it isn't affect Gold in any way. We've been ganking on him too more.
No, we haven't. We've only been doing it in the last 20 minutes. We'll be fine.
He's like, you're like, no, we haven't. There's still so much more we could say about Gold.
There is Gold. You open up the door. Why do you do this to us? Gold has many shields.
Gold is trying not to lash out against us, right?
There's-
Right.
Really trying not to laugh.
You can sense the hate in his belly, as he did when he said he hates the gays.
You see, the thing is, half of us, you see, you and me, we're pretty,
Yeah.
flexible with our sexuality. So, I mean, I think he was about us.
I'm about to say Gold.
Gold hates us. This is
Gold.
cold for
There are
Gold
only about
hates
5
us.
straight people in the.
Again, I don't hate. I don't.
You heard him. He was gonna say you. Again, I don't hate the.
I don't hate the.
respect them as people. I respect them as people. You know, it's just that they have a different preference and they have
Go.
different ideals.
Gold. I seriously need you to understand
No,
that there are only about 5 straight people in this entire Discord.
Really? For real?
Yes, including me and Gold. There are only about
I've counted. There's 9.
9.
Yeah, I was about to say 5 is too small.
There's 9.
Like, if it's above 12, I probably am a little like.
I'd
If it was above 12, I would probably be like, maybe.
I'd be suspicious if it was double digits.
No.
Yeah.
That's just.
Cause see, in this Discord, there's like 40 people. Good. 5 of them are bots, I think, or 6.
I'm
of
pretty
them.
sure 2 of those bots are gay.
Wait, so are the others straight? We have straight bots too?
How do you have gay bots? I wish to know. I
It's
need context.
They were they were coded like that. They didn't turn into it. They were coded it. It's their lifestyle. They can erase it if they want. Anyways,
But no, they.
No, you see, they work in. You see, the way that a bot works is it's programmed by binaries, and so you might think there's ones and zeros, but there might just be a bunch of ones. But there might just be a bunch of zeros.
and sometimes the legendary one, a 2.
Bro, it's a queer robot. We have queer robots too.
Yeah, and
no.
these bots have 2s in them somewhere.
Now, legend has it. Sometimes there are those 3
With 3s.
who shouldn't.
Those 3s.
With 3.
We don't talk about the 3s though. They're monsters.
They don't have 1s or 2s. They're just 3s. They're straight up 3s.
All right, just 3s. But yeah.
Just 3.
So we hope you guys did enjoy this topic. If it was a little bit much for you, sorry.
Oh my god, we're still being recorded.
Yeah, we've been not unless I say we're done, we ain't done. So yeah, like I was saying though, sorry if you felt a little offended or if you felt what we were saying was too harsh or too light. That's why we have the comment section down below for you to discuss this and for us to discuss it with you so we can talk about pretty much just all types of life. If you feel that we didn't like hit every single nail, because I can guarantee you there's 1,000 nails and we must have hit like 5 of them. So if you believe that we didn't hit your nail, giggity. just comment down below in the comment section. We'll talk about it. We don't mind a little bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? An argue? Not
Discussion.
An argument. Yeah, we don't mind a little bit of a discussion, a little heated debate. Also, if you are supporting us, thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who actually sits down and listens to these, who shares these with your friends and family. We're trying to definitely grow from the conversations we normally have, because normally we usually do like funny off the cuff topics, you know, oh, this game is coming out here, this movie's doing this. But this time around, I don't know, does anyone else feel a little bit more comfortable talking about like actual serious stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I've always felt comfortable about it. It's just the matter of I think we're still, even if we're 16 episodes in, I still feel like we still have a long way to go before we pan out exactly what we have or what we want.
We have so much growth to do. We have branding, we have marketing, we have all that type of stuff, and we just have to figure out where we're going with the channel. We definitely have been lacking on the types of videos and shit we make, because every 2 weeks we're supposed to do a podcast or a JT Plays and have one solo play, and I have been lacking on that for the past 4 weeks, so that's my fault, that's my bad. But honestly, there's not a whole lot of games, so unless we move to like Warframe or stuff like that, I don't really have much that I could show you guys in the sense of gameplay until like until dawn, not until dawn, The Last of Us Chapter 2 or anything like that, or we can play like online games or stuff like that. However, excuse me, how to burp. However, if you were interested in all of this and feel like coming in and talking to us more like one-on-one, we do have a Discord, and the link is in the description below. That's mainly where we hang out. We aren't really a fan of using our Facebook page. Twitter eludes us, and Instagram
We're working on it.
Yeah, Instagram actually has a new YouTube type feature. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. I've talked to one of you about it.
It's the TV thing, right?
Yeah, IGTV. I talked about it on my other YouTube channel a couple weeks ago. But yeah, we'll try to see what we can do with that, because I feel like we could probably work Instagram and Discord the most above all else. So, yeah, so other than that, we hope you guys did enjoy. Once again, with me is Apple Van Jack.
Oh, yeah, well, good day, good evening, good whatever it is, and don't forget to practice safe sex.
Golden Sparrow.
And if you don't, just remember not to be a dick about spreading your illnesses. And if you do have an illness, do know that there are a lot of people like you, and there is treatment.
Golden Sparrow.
Okay, just the last few notes. To those suffering with with an STD or something of the sort, hopefully the light gets better. Also, Tic Tacs. I need them. IHOP. It's a front. Okay. It's still going to be the P. There's a reason behind that P being a B. Okay. There's something behind that. Also,
the International House of
Bluetooth is safer than a cell phone. So yeah, think about getting a Bluetooth device. The next time, put your cell phone next to your head.
Oh, yeah, we had that talk yesterday. I remember that.
And
yeah.
Wicked.
phone radiation. Was up, or I guess peace out. You know, they basically said everything. Oh yeah, don't be stupid. I know that should probably go without saying, but you know, with some of y'all, not some of y'all, but with some people, it's
most
just,
of y'all, all of y'all.
with some people, it's just clearly.
Be considerate. Have some conscience.
You gotta be reiterated. So, just don't be fucking stupid.
Please, we beg you.
I know you all are intelligent individuals. Not intelligent.
Not all of you, but most of you.
And
no, we love also the support though.
And me, Leo Young, and I guess it's everyone's giving a little bit of advice. I guess my advice is you are in complete control of your body, except for the parts that you're not in control of, like your heart and your blood and all that, but that's not important. You're in control of your body. You make your own choices, and you should be free to do as you please, as long as what you do does not hurt, affect, or fuck over anyone else around you or in the future of your path. That's my bit of, go for you. So like we always say, we hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. Gently caress our subscribe button to get access to our notification bell, and
it is very delicate.
it is a very for so many years, the subscribe button has been smashed and banged and fucked hard. So now we need to show it some love. We need to bring peace to the subscriber life. Don't forget to also
Or
like.
you could just beat its ass again. That works too.
Don't forget to also like and share with your friends and family, and definitely comment down below on what you think of this episode and if you would like to hear or see more like this. So yeah, we'll see you in the next one, and peace.
Bye.